Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hardworking Man podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Heath. And today we're giving you the Hardworking Man gift guide. If you have a man or a woman in your life and you're not sure what to get them, we're going to tell you some of the stuff that we use, some out in the wood yard or hunting, and some just in everyday life. Stuff that we love having. These aren't items we're sponsored by, nothing like that. It's just stuff that I say all the time. Man, I love having this. Like, I'm so glad I found this, and I recommend this stuff to people throughout the year. So if you need to go get something for Christmas, we're getting down to the wire.
Yeah, if you're not sure what to get, send this video to, if your woman doesn't know what to get you, let her watch this video. There'll be lots of great ideas.
And if you really need to give her a hint, you can send the video and be like, don't miss at 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
Right.
Like if that's the thing when you're like, I need this in my life.
Yeah.
And some of this stuff you might already have, or you might not even know exists, or that it is as valuable as it is. Because some of this stuff, until I had it, I would be like, meh, what would I need that for? And then you get it and you're like, oh my gosh, how have I lived without that my whole life?
Yep. So I will share ideas after Heath's done. So we'll do the men's first.
Well, first we're going to tell you about how Rachel ruined Christmas.
Apparently we missed this story on our last one, and Heath really wants to share.
Well, we just had my family Christmas party, and almost everyone was here, like 600 people in our house.
Yeah, except the brother whose Christmas I ruined. I guess I really did.
He's probably
ruin.
still mad at you
Yeah.
because when we were dating and we talked about this in our last one, the chaos of Christmas, how on Christmas Day we would go everywhere, and we started and almost ended at Rachel's mom's house. That's where Christmas started. And after everything was done and she was taking her haul down to her bedroom in the basement,
well,
what happened?
we were still in high school at this time. Like I was.
Yeah, we were dating. That's what I said.
I was 17 years old. I mean, I think it's more important because it shows the age. It's not like it's a bunch of adults we're talking about Christmas parties.
We used to be young.
It was high schoolers, and you had a lot younger siblings.
Yeah, so if I was 18, that means my little brother was 12 at the time.
And
the one who she ruined Christmas for was 12.
Well, then your youngest sister was 2. So like
yes.
Started off, your mom was waiting for us to be done with our Christmases at my family to do your family Christmas. So there was no opening presents on Christmas morning, which already
ruined it.
Ruined it for the brothers, which that wasn't our choice. That was his mother's choice.
Because she wants everyone to be there. She always wants it to be fair. She wants everyone involved. And
yeah.
I mean, what do? I got this hot young girlfriend.
Oh,
I can't miss her Christmas. She wants to do her Christmas first. So I gotta go there, right?
So we did it morning, and then I'm carrying my gifts down the stairs, which are carpeted, to go down into my room, and I had just socks on, and I slipped and fell and landed on my back, like in the middle of the stairs, and it hurt, and I like crawled, like all the presents went everywhere, and I crawled like onto the floor, like, oh my gosh. Well, my mom panicked.
Opposite of how we parent. If one of our kids fell down the stairs, we'd be like, get up.
You okay down there? Not her. She like runs to my aid. She's like, don't move anything. Like she thought I broke my back and was going to be paralyzed if I moved. And so I lay there, and she called 911.
The ambulance shows up.
An ambulance comes.
Christmas morning.
I'm carried up the stairs on a stretcher on the backboard, brought to the hospital, have all these x-rays, have everything, just to find out, like, yeah, you're just bruised.
You fell down the stairs.
You fell down the stairs and got bruised. But they doped me up really good on painkillers. So then we continued on with our day, went to my dad's where everyone was, and I just remember everyone laughing at whatever I was saying.
Oh, yeah, she was high on painkillers, and we had to go to her dad's, which was now greatly delayed because you guys know how fast a hospital visit's going to be. It took forever.
I don't think we got to your family's Christmas till like 7 p.m. and these poor kids had been waiting all day.
My little brother was losing it. He's like, can't we just open the presents without her? Like, why doesn't he just leave her and come?
I mean, I get it. I was brand new to the family, and our kids would not be down for changing that schedule.
I don't know that we would have waited. My mom waited. No. My brother still mad about it when the year Rachel ruined Christmas.
Right.
So luckily everything worked out and we kept her around so he can still be reminded of that story. And I mean, if she ruined Christmas and then we broke up a few months later, that would have been even worse. At least to me, she was worth it because I got an all-star and a wife, and it was worth ruining Christmas for.
Right. Oh, yeah. We do have a couple of housekeeping items we want to tell you before we get started on this, though. So, because we hit 10,000 subscribers.
On YouTube.
Thank you all on YouTube. We're going to do a giveaway, a live stream, where we've been having different videos out there that if you comment certain things, then you can have a chance to be entered. So, we'll do a random comment generator to figure out who wins.
And some of them are games, though. You have to like guess something on the show or whatever. And some of these items are items that we were sponsored by, and some of them are just stuff that we love and we use and we picked up and are going to give away, because without the fans, what do we have? Just a video that we could go watch. Right. And we could just do that on an SD card. We wouldn't have to put it on YouTube.
So as a thanks to all of you, we're giving away some really fun items. And our live stream is going to be on Monday the 18th.
December 18th, 2023 at 7 p.m. because it gets dark at 5:30. You can come in, eat dinner, and maybe have a drink or two and get ready for the Hardworking Man live stream. If you got to work the next day, which a lot of us will, it won't go too late.
We're not going to go too late.
It'll probably be...
I mean, if there's like a lot of you in there still, we'll go as long as you guys want. But we don't, you'll be fine. We'll do most of the giveaways within the first hour.
And then the rest will just go by how things are flowing, how it's going.
Right. So be sure to check out the last few videos so you can know how to be entered to win. To reward those of you who actually watch our videos and don't just show up to the live stream and then try to comment real quick, you got to have your comments
or your guesses
put in by the time I'm not going to give you a tip or a hint as to when, go to this video quick because I'm going to find a winner. Nope, you already have to have it. So.
And we don't put giveaway in the title because that draws scammers. And some of these we don't say until halfway through the video, hey, if you want to win, then guess this or comment this or go watch this video and comment that. We try to switch it up, try to keep it interesting. One, to keep the scammers at bay, and two,
those scammers
just to
are
reward
terrible.
the people who watch the videos, because that's what makes us successful.
Be sure to tune in on Monday, December 18th, 2023 at 7 p.m. for our 10K live stream, and hopefully you can win one of our good prizes.
So now let's get onto the list, the Christmas shopping list.
Our Hardworking Man gift guide.
One of the things that I've had for years, and this will tell you about how long I've had it. I'm 43 years old, and when I was a freshman in college at Lake Superior State University, the RA in my dorm snuck me into his room. I know that sounds bad, right?
Sounds creepy. Where are we going with this?
But he snuck me into his room because he knows I'm a hunter. He was a hunter. Up at Lake State, it's up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, a lot of people are hunters. They actually had a cooler in the basement where you could hang deer, and you could process deer in the basement of the dorms back in the day. Probably not anymore, but you could then. You couldn't, however, have guns and weapons and all that in your dorm room per the rules. So my RA snuck me into his dorm room, showed me a new handgun that he had, showed me his hunting rifle. All this stuff's in the RA's dorm room. But he also showed me a knife sharpening kit. It was a Lansky knife sharpening kit, and he showed me how it worked and how sharp his knives were, and it blew my mind. And I bought one, and it is just an awesome thing to have. So I've had it for 25 years now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And used it. I bought the one with the stones. It's basically a guide that you clamp a knife into, and it's got different angles and rods and sharpening stones, and you use it to sharpen your knives. So you get the exact same angle every time at a razor sharp edge. And you'll get the haters, the naysayers, the real men don't need guides. They sharpen my hand. Same with the chainsaws. You know what? Then I ain't a real man. I don't care. Because that thing is awesome. And I bought it, the stone one, like I said, being cheap, bought the cheaper one instead of the diamond stones. And I used it so much that it literally wore an angle into the stones. It wore the stones round, so then you started losing your precision angle. And I rebought with a diamond one because that one doesn't wear out, and I've had that for years. Not only is it great for your hunting knives, your pocket knives, your fishing knives, but
Our
your
kitchen knives. We have the sharpest knives. Anytime anyone comes over and they, oh, do you have a sharp knife to use for whatever? And they're like, oh my gosh, I've never used a knife this sharp.
And we go to other people's house and you grab a knife
Everyone
and you're
has
like
dull
sawing at it.
knives.
Like, my God, I just want to bring that kit with me. That's how awesome it is.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, what we can find links to. We'll put links to everything in the description, whether it's just going to be the website where you can buy it, and these aren't all affiliate links or anything like that. They're just how you can find it. So click on the description below this on YouTube. I'm not sure how all the podcast platforms work, but if you want to find it, go to YouTube, Hardworking Man, and in the description of this podcast, we'll have links to all these items. So number one of the things I love and have used for years is the Lansky Diamond knife sharpening kit. The things are awesome. They're amazing. And women, you want to get your man one so you have sharp kitchen knives.
I love him having one of these too. I could learn how to do it, but I don't do it. He sharpens them all. Beautiful.
And if you buy it for him, maybe he'll have to swallow his pride and not be a man and use it, and he'll fall in love with it like I did.
Okay. So the next item, we showed one of these in one of our videos.
We're actually giving one away.
We're going to give one away.
And it's just something I bought because
we have two of them.
I don't even know how I started having one of these, but it's just a boot dryer. It sounds simple and it sounds like, what would you need a boot dryer for?
Oh, no, we use it all the time.
All the time. And it's basically like Peet. P-E-E-T was the initial one that I got. I've now got a few different brands. The one we're giving away is, I believe it's a job site or whatever, but we'll put links in the description. But it's essentially a plastic platform with a plastic tube and a little thing that you can put boots on or gloves on or shoes on. And it just has a small heating element that heats up, and by science, the heat rises. So it's not a fan. It's quiet. It takes almost no electricity. We leave them plugged in 365 days a year. And we've had them for years. And
yeah, kids use them. Like, they wash their shoes all the time because they get dirty.
And don't throw them in the dryer and have to hear the cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo,
well, and
cuckoo.
it ruins your shoes.
Ruin your shoes. You just throw them
Stick
on that
thing. Boot dryer.
And by morning, they're dry. Your work boots, your rubber boots, if you wear knee-high rubber boots for hunting, for deer tracking, for working outside because it hasn't stopped raining this year, you don't realize that they're wet and they're damp every time you put them on until you put on a pair fresh off the boot dryer, and you'll put your boots on these dryers every single night. We have a couple here at home. We have them up at the hunting property, and especially when it's cold up at the hunting cabin, we don't keep the heat real high. So if you don't get the boot dryer, like I'm usually the one there, so my boots are on there, I slip my feet into some nice warm boots, and everyone else slips theirs into a little bit chilly boots. Yeah. We rotate them through to make sure everyone's are dry, but I love pulling them off the boot dryer and putting them on my feet.
Yes, many uses for the boot dryer.
And another thing that I absolutely love, and I didn't realize until, again, I started having them. I grew up and mag lights were the thing. And the big mag lights. You put 60 batteries in that thing, you got the light to have. Well, technology's evolved a ton in this. And being a deer tracker, lights are essential. Being able to see at night. A lot of our tracks are at night. And a good quality headlamp if you don't wear a hat. And I say that because with the evolution of lights, I now rarely use my headlamp because I'm always wearing a hat, and as bright as some of these new lights are and the little clips, you just clip it on the bill of your hat. So if your man doesn't wear a ball cap, get him a quality headlamp. Not a cheap one, not one with replaceable batteries, a rechargeable one. An Olight, a Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X. There's, different brands of great ones. Those are two of my favorites that I've used over the years. Out working in the wood yard, tracking deer, hunting, just working outside, working on a car. The little Olights and the Trustfire MC1, they're small. I have one on my belt or in my pocket all the time. You can magnet it to the hood. You can clip it to your hat. So if your man wears a hat, get him one of the little ones with a clip. He'll wonder how he didn't live without it. It's not a flashlight keychain that's on the keychain. Those are cool too. I have those. But these lights are legit. They're bright. You can look for things when you lose them. You can work on things. You can track deer. You can do everything, and you just plug them in and recharge them. There's no change in batteries. There's no lithium ion batteries like the old Surefires had, which were like the next evolution from the mag light, and that was the go-to. I've got little lights that are literally the size of a chapstick. The Baton 3 Micro, the MC1 Trust Fire, that are brighter than my $100+ Surefire lights that I bought years ago when I was into hunting, getting into law enforcement, all of that. So check these out. A quality little pocket light, flashlight, or headlamp is a thing they won't know they didn't need until they have it.
Well, and you always say a man can never have too many flashlights.
Too many flashlights or too many knives, pocket knives.
Right.
Like not the huge, I just like a small little clip pocket knife that you can throw in your pocket and you need it. What happened at Paul Bunyan? Like, you don't always go where there's knives, but in certain settings there is.
What did I need? I had to cut something off at Paul Bunyan, and I just said, does anyone have a knife? And there was like 10 guys whipped around with their knives.
I don't get the same response. Rachel did.
It was so awesome.
We should have made a short of it, and I actually want to, because it was just, she literally was like, I need a knife. Does anyone have a knife? And I was on the outside of the circle of men around Rachel, and they all just, and everyone knives were whipping out. Tony from Tony's Cool Tools had a switchblade.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Everybody was just like, bam. So if your man doesn't have his favorite pocket knife, get him one, and get him something decent. You know, there's a million brands out there.
We will link Heath's favorites. So
I like the Kershaw. I like the CRTK or KT. You know, like I don't know which one it is. It's on my belt. I use it all the time. I'll pull it out. And this one, CRKT. This knife I got years ago. 20 years ago, the Mini Mai Tai. I love this knife, and it's sturdy. It's got the spring assist opening. Rachel got this.
Careful flinging that thing around.
She says that a lot. She was at a garage sale, and there was a stroller there with a little mesh thing on it, and she goes, hey, do you guys know there's a knife hanging on that stroller? You know, because she didn't want a kid to get it and get cut or whatever. And they're like, what? And she showed them. And they were like, that's not ours. So this clip, when I had got it, was bent out. It was loose. And apparently some unlucky guy walked past that stroller, and this clip hooked on the mesh of it and pulled it out of his pocket. Rachel found it, being concerned for people's safety. She asked about it, and they're like, that's not ours. If you want it, take it. She took it, brought it home, gave it to me, and I've been using it ever since. I love the thing. It's on a belt loop. A little holster that Robert.
I love that you remember that story.
I do.
I have no knowledge of this at this moment.
But so I always had it in my pocket, and now I've got a little thing on my belt because I'm getting up there in the years. I'm in my 40s, and Robert from
in my busy little shop
made me a belt, and he made me a holster for my knife, which I never knew I needed until I had it, and now I love it.
Now he's got and that's another gift guide item, which we didn't, I don't think you wrote that down, but that leather belt that Robert made, we'll link his shop. He's got a YouTube quality channel. Products, hand makes them all. Amazing to watch the process. Like, it's really
I never knew what went into it. And he also made me a little holster for my light that I carry all the time, which is on my belt.
He's got belt with attachments.
I got the attachment. I'm like my dad. He always had the Leatherman on there, and he'd whip that belt out when us kids needed the belt of correction, and that Leatherman would go flying, and he'd get the smile on his face, and that belt would come out. I don't have to do that. I can't. I got one thing on each side. I can't let my stuff go flying. But Todd from Todd's Outside Again, Robert sent me two, and he's like, give this to somebody that you know that would appreciate it, that has a light like that. And I knew from working with Todd at a charity event that he had the same small light, and we talked for 30, 45 minutes about, oh my gosh, I can't not have this thing. It goes with, I feel more naked without that light than I do without my phone. He's like, oh, I lost mine once. I was devastated because he was working under a truck and stuck it to it and forgot and drove off, and he went back and found it. So you'll see this same thing on Todd's Outside Again from Robert in my busy little shop. He makes these. He takes them to his artisan shows or whatever and sells them. But I'm sure if you get a hold of them, you can buy one. Buy your man a belt. It's not a belt from Meyer, from Cabela's, it's a legit belt.
Watch his videos and you can watch him make them. It's really fascinating.
And he puts pride into his work.
Yes,
so check that out. And on to the next thing. if your man is a hunter, this is something that, again, until I had it, I thought it's a scam. These guys are paid to tell you it's good. How can one brand of clothing be better than another? Like, it's all the same. And then I got some Sitka gear, and
Game
wow,
changer.
the comfort level, the warmth level, the
fit,
design,
just
the
how
fit,
it fits.
everything. The Sitka, if your man hunts, like, there's different styles of hunting. There's the out west hunting where you're hiking, where you're moving, where you're doing all that. There's the white-tailed deer tree stand hunting in the Midwest where you go and you put your clothes on and you sit in a tree stand for hours in freezing cold temperatures. The Fanatic series from Sitka, the hoodie that goes underneath, again, you're like, that hoodie costs way too much. There's no way it's worth it. It is. Your man will love it. Your woman will love it. We both have them. They've got awesome features. If you forget your gloves, the sleeves turn into mittens. It's got a face mask that pulls up that you don't realize is there. The hood, the pouch, the hand warmer pouch. That little hoodie, it's expensive. It's sort of thin. It is 100% worth it. And then the bibs and the jacket. Mm-hmm. Wow. So warm, so comfortable, so soft. And this stuff's going to last. And then another brand that I love is Asio Gear, A-S-I-O. It's a newer company. They make some really nice stuff. I got their windproof jacket. I'd love the windproof pants to go with them. It's a lighter weight thing. But the number one thing they make, and it is by far and away the best pair of hunting gloves I've ever had, is their midweight shooter glove. They're amazing. Asio Gear midweight shooter glove. It's a leather palm, a quality leather. You can stick your finger and your thumb out of the slits on both hands if you need to use your phone, but you can use your phone without doing that. But you can, if you want the bare finger on the trigger, you can stick your trigger finger out, right or left hand. These things are thin, they're comfortable, and they're so warm. If you were like, I'm going to get you one piece of hunting gear, those gloves would be at the top of my list. The Asio Gear mid-weight shooting glove. And we'll have the link just to their website. And we're not sponsored by Sitka. We're not sponsored by Asio Gear. We're not sponsored by these boot dryers. We're not really sponsored by anybody.
No, just
we've had products
sent
to us to test and try, and we recommend in a video. But if I keep recommending something, it's because it works and it's legit and I love it and I want to share it with you because I bought stuff that isn't legit, that doesn't work. I've tried products that I don't like and I won't recommend those. So this is the stuff that I get it and I try it and I use it and then I wonder how I can't live without it. So we've touched on the pocket knives, which was the next thing. Another thing, if you watch our channel and it's evolving rapidly, are the little power packs. And
I feel like they're everywhere all of a sudden.
Everywhere all of a sudden, and the competition is huge, so the sale prices are great. The technology is constantly improving. A few that we've used and had good luck with and have liked are the EBL, the Vitomin, the Opus, which you can win one of those if you check out one of our videos, make the correct comment, and join us on the live. So we're giving away one of those. And a 600 watt quality power pack 6 months ago was $600, $700, $800. They're now down in the $300 range. So these prices are coming down. This stuff is worth having. If you have a CPAP machine, if you have sleep apnea and you need a machine to sleep, you need one of these, period, for travel, for camping, for power outages. And then you can use it to power your equipment, your laptops, charge your camera gear, your cell phones, lights working outside, power tools working out in the woods. They are so useful, so handy. A power pack for your man that then you can take and use also.
Well, and we have like the smaller ones that we can just bring in the car.
The 300 watt ones are like this big.
They're perfect. And you can plug in multiple things in there. So if a kid has to say, like, work on a laptop that needs to be plugged in the back, or watch a movie,
charge their headphones so they can listen to their music or play their games on a road trip.
Plug their phones in. There's Type-C chargers. There's USB chargers. Like, it is so useful. Or say, you're at a sporting event all day and you can't go, your phone dies because we're on our phones while we're watching.
Phone dies. You got the little sport pod, which was something that wasn't on my list a lot of the stuff is going to
yeah.
be pertaining to our lives. We're in the Midwest. We're not down south.
When you
Our
play
baseball season,
baseball, it
half
snows.
of baseball season, there's snow. It's cold. It's windy. They make these sport pods. Single
Pod.
person ones, multi-person ones.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to take a minute to not be embarrassed.
No, you look stupid. You
But
look
then-
dumb. She got one. I'm like, I'm not sitting by you. Go sit down there. I don't want people to know I'm with you.
But
and then I'm
they
there
are-
shivering, freezing, wet and cold.
They block the wind.
And she's in her little stupid pod, and I'm like,
in like a t-shirt, like it's beautiful in here.
I'm like knocking on the window, the vinyl
Let
window.
me
I'm like,
in.
let me in. She's like, you ain't coming in
No.
here. There ain't room for you. So
Single.
actually, for one of our anniversaries,
Got
we
a
bought
double.
a 2-person one, and now we bring it. People are like, oh my gosh, where'd you get that?
Oh, yeah.
And that one is our favorite
That one's our
because
favorite. It has a sunshade.
it's a sunshade. So
it's
if
like
you just need to be
multi-
out of the sun, you set that up. You're under it.
Yes.
But also, then a little thing goes in it where if you need to be out of the elements, you
If
can be
it's-
there. And now with these power packs and a small little electric heater,
Oh my gosh.
we're in there
Living the best
just
life.
living it up. And you look outside and these people are shivering. They're wet. They're cold. They're nasty.
They're
and we're just
like-
like, psh. And then a few weeks later, they show up with one.
Right.
You look stupid. You look dumb. But it's becoming more of a thing. So
Well-
you don't look as dumb anymore because there's a line of
There's
these
a
things.
lot of them, and I'd rather look dumb and be warm
And
and,
comfortable.
happy and comfortable than sit there and freeze.
So
And,
yeah,
no.
those sport pods, not on the list, but you can just hear
It
the
is
excitement
now.
in our voice
It
talking
is on the
about
list
it.
now. I also will add to that because since we got on that topic, what are those chairs called that I love? That have
The ones you bought me on Facebook Marketplace.
that is a funny story. Don't order anything off Facebook.
She never. The
It
Facebook
wasn't Marketplace.
Not Marketplace.
wasn't-
Facebook. The ads that pop up.
It was an ad, and it was for a legit outdoor company. Well, it seemed legit. I went to their
Was it
website,
legit?
and it looked like it was. What's that like?
But we're going to educate people here on how to avoid a scam because they played the scam to us to a T, and this is what they did. It was a Facebook ad. So when you're scrolling through Facebook and a thing pops up, it can be for anything
Well, it doesn't
from
pop up. It's just an ad.
whatever.
placed
It's there. You scroll through it and you see it and you click on it. It was back. They're more
It was
readily
a
available
few years
now.
ago.
But it was basically a sling reclining camping chair.
Yeah.
So you can sit around the campfire and you can lay it back a little bit. You swing in it. It's got a drink holder. But you can get them now at Sam's Club, at Cabela's, online on,
Yeah.
we'll link those. But
Which, those are the best chairs.
back then you couldn't just get them anywhere, and they were just starting to pop up on Marketplace, and you see these little commercial videos, not Marketplace, on Facebook ads. You guys know what I'm talking about. She corrects me every little misspoke. But on Facebook advertisements, these people are so happy around the campfire sitting in their chair, and they were expensive. I want to
They
say
were like $60 a piece. That's not expensive.
they were more than that.
No, they were not. That's why it was a great deal, and I ordered them.
Okay, so it was such a good deal. Back then, it was too good to be true, and it truly was. So she ordered them
And I was all excited. Wait for these chairs to show
for
up.
both of us, one for each of us. And then after time goes by and she doesn't get them, and she oh yeah, we were going to ship them out next week. Oh, we're a little behind.
I filed
Just
a claim.
excuse after excuse after excuse. And what they were doing was not shipping them. It was several months and they hadn't shipped them, and they wait for you to file a claim. Because once you file a claim, you can't file another one. Why? I don't know, but beware of
It was
buying
through
stuff off
PayPal.
Facebook
That's
and
why.
PayPal.
Facebook wasn't the face. It was because of PayPal's
So
policies.
she paid through PayPal, and on PayPal, unless it's changed, you file a claim, you can't file another one. So they did not ship the item until she filed a claim. As soon as she filed a claim, she got a
Tracking
shipment
number.
notification because that's what they were waiting for. It's a scam. So they shipped it. Now we're waiting for these chairs to show up. I'm looking for big boxes on the
I mean, they
port.
should be a big.
And then I open the mailbox, and there they are. 2 chairs in our mailbox. They were made out of straw-sized aluminum poles. They did not swing. They did not recline. They did not
No.
support a human. I sat in the thing and crushed it to the ground. So it was not what they sold her. It was not what she bought.
And I had no recourse.
Because we go to file a claim, and they say, you already
They shipped
filed
your
a claim.
item.
Your item was delivered. You can't file another
Yeah.
one. $120 straight into the trash bin. So that's their scam. I don't know
I
how to
think they
tell you
offer-
to not do it because they're not going to ship it till you file a claim. And if you don't ever file a
Wow.
claim, you don't ever get your money back. As soon as you file a claim, they ship you something that's not what it's supposed to be, and you can't file another claim.
I did my due
They got us.
diligence. I went on there and I checked out the website, like separately from the Facebook ad, to try to make sure it was a legit company.
And it wasn't.
And it wasn't.
And they got us. But that's the only time we've ever been gotten like that.
Yeah.
So be careful of buying stuff off the Facebook ads. That's our PSA.
Anyways, those chairs that they rock and they can lean back, those are the best chairs. So if you need an outdoor chair, a camp chair, any of that, get yourself a set of
They're
those.
comfortable. People are going to be jealous. People are going to ask you where you got them, and people are
Everyone,
gonna want them.
every time I have them up at sporting events, somebody walks by and goes, "Oh my gosh, you look so comfortable. Where did you get your chair?"
Not the mini broken ones, the real ones.
Heath made fun of me for that for a very long time, so I'm glad you brought that up again.
You brought it up. I just spurred of
I just
memory.
brought up the nice chairs. You were like, "Let me tell you about a time Rachel got scammed because she's a loser." That's
See how women listen. They don't hear what we say. It was with
the
all
only reason
love,
he-
and I was so happy that she bought them for us.
No, he
And then
didn't.
she hears me say other things.
he clearly thought it was way too expensive to buy, and they were
It was
only
a lot of
$60.
money for us then.
No,
Yeah, it was.
you only sat in that chair just to prove a point. Like, look at how stupid
I didn't
she
know I
is.
was going to crash to the ground.
All right, moving on.
The next thing is by Vitomin. And I actually learned about this after I had my Vitomin power pack and bought a jump pack for it, a little wire kit, which is awesome for those Vitomin packs. Then I watched Firewood at the Furnace, and Brad shows a Vitomin, VTOMAN, jump pack. I've wanted one since I was in college for the second time. I used to buy cars from insurance auctions, fix them up, and sell them. And back then, they made the jump boxes. They had like a car battery in them. They had a little garbage flashlight on them. They had so you could jump your car, and they weighed about 70 pounds, and they were $300 or $400. And people would bring one of those out, and it was like a status symbol. You're like, man, he's got a jump pack, like a jump box. Like, I wanted one, but there's no way I could afford something like that. Well, now, fast forward 20 years in technology and everything, Brad showed this Vitomin X7. It's not only a little lithium jump pack, which can jump diesel engines. I've jumped the Kubota tractor, jumped vehicles with it. It's also a tire pump. It pumps up tires up to, I believe, 120 or 130 psi, and it just flat out works. And you can catch them on sale for down in the low $100 range for the X7, which is one of their nicer units. It's a light. It's got everything. It can literally slide into your glove box. And
Super
it's a
useful.
security safety thing that my wife, my daughter, me, anybody can have with them. You can charge your phones. It's got a couple USB ports, and it's $100 and some. They're awesome. They're not a status symbol anymore, like I thought those big jump packs were, which they weren't, but to me they were.
Maybe they are to some people.
So we had jumper cables, and if you had to get a jump, you got to jump. But now with these jump packs, you can jump yourself. You don't have to worry about hooking up to someone else's car, frying the computer on their Tesla or whatever it is. You just take care of your own. You don't have to worry about some creep coming and trying to jump your wife late at night. She can just jump herself, and she's gone. So that little jump pack, awesome.
Next item.
And then, if you watch Hardworking Man, you're going to see the Masterbuilt Gravity Series grill.
Oh,
We've got the
yes.
big one, the 1050. I just cooked all of the meat for our family Christmas party yesterday. Got up at 4 a.m. Literally turn on the grill, have the hardwood charcoal in there. It's not a pellet grill, but it operates like one. So you use real lump hardwood charcoal, which if you're not cooking on that, you're wrong. If you're cooking on propane, you're not living. Hardwood charcoal, lump hardwood charcoal is the way to go. No liquid fire starter chemicals. It's a gravity-fed grill. You dump your charcoal in, you put your wood in, you put a little fire starter in, you light it up, you turn the grill on, set the temperature, and it does the rest for you.
And you go back to bed.
You put the meat on, put the pork butt on, you set the temperature, put your meat probe in, go to bed. It's on your phone. So now it's cooking while I'm sleeping, and I don't have to constantly, let me go check the temperature. Let me go see where it's at. Let me see how the cook is advancing, because it does it for you. And it's not cheap, but it's worth it because it's fast It uses a fan to control the fire, so you don't have to wait for the fire to naturally get to the temperature you need. It gets it there, you're ready to cook. Then it keeps it there. The thing, it's not, there are some flaws. It's technology. I cannot get the thing to update to the latest firmware. It's not perfect, but it's my favorite grill so far. And it's not a pellet grill, which I wanted for years but couldn't pull the trigger on because I liked cooking on lump charcoal so much. And now with this available, I believe there's one other brand right now that makes one, and I forget what it is, but I've watched the comparison videos, and the Masterbuilt seemed like the way to go. So if you like cooking outside, your man likes grilling, you like eating good food, the Masterbuilt Gravity Series grills, they're awesome.
A great gift.
They're awesome. You can smoke on them, you can grill on them, you can make pizza on them. We got the pizza oven adapter kit. That's another awesome thing. It literally cooks a pizza in 2 minutes. Like, they're awesome. They're so universal. I wish they were built to a little bit higher quality standard. I'm not going to lie, because that's just how I am. I'd rather pay more and have one that's maybe a little thicker metal and whatnot. But the thing works. It's going to last me a while. I don't see it lasting forever, but it's worth buying. It's worth using. Once you use it, you're going to love it. You'll absolutely love it.
Next item on the gift guide is Crocs.
For everybody.
For everyone, for the whole family. And we wear them all year round as slippers.
Slippers in the house. We have no carpet in our house because of the dogs, but even if we did, the Crocs are awesome because in the summer and when it's warm, you just slip them on with your bare feet and you don't have to walk on the hard floor or
if you gotta
whatever.
Run
if you got to run
outside
outside to do something, you got your Crocs on and they're comfortable.
Like
in
when
the winter, you put some
got Crocs,
thicker socks on.
I thought that was.
She thought it was. I got a pair of camouflage Crocs.
Okay, you got camouflage Crocs for one.
Kept losing them.
But you can't even, like, one time he wore them to a baseball game.
It wasn't a mistake.
And because they're so comfortable, you just didn't even realize you
I
had
never
them on.
intended to wear them out of the house.
It's another thing. You kind of got to get over the embarrassment that you might have over wearing Crocs.
I don't have any of the jewels in mine. What are those? The trinkets.
Gibbet?
Gibbets. No gibbets in my Crocs. Mine are man Crocs.
So you wore them to a baseball game with socks on. And then you look down and we're like, oh my gosh.
I'm at my kid's baseball game, comfortable as can be, loving life.
So
I got a sports t-shirt on, my Adam Sandler gym shorts that Rachel's now banned me from wearing. And I'm sitting there just watching the game, and I look down, and I got my white crew socks on and my camouflage Crocs. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, what are you wearing?
Right.
Like,
So we
didn't
made fun
even
of you
realize
then.
it that I was wearing my house slippers, my Crocs. These things are awesome.
But then I started like slipping them on when I wanted to go somewhere.
And now we got Crocs
I was like, those
everywhere.
are pretty comfortable. So I've got a couple of pair of Crocs. All the kids have them, which teenagers love Crocs.
Oh yeah, they'll wear them. They'll wear them to prom.
White. They'll want the white Crocs though, which I think is so weird because those get dirty
so dirty.
Fast.
But just a pair of Crocs for your man, for your woman, for your kids.
If I had Crocs when I was a teenager, I wouldn't have fallen down the stairs.
She wouldn't have ruined Christmas.
I wouldn't have ruined Christmas.
She would still be loved by my little brother.
But we got Crocs for my dad, my stepdad, your stepdad for Christmas one year, and they are like, we love them.
How did I ever live without these stupid, ugly shoes?
They're so comfortable. They last way longer than a pair of slippers. They don't fall apart. You can wash them like
Run
easy.
out to the mailbox. They don't have the huge tread that they're going to carry all the debris back in the house. They're just
they're perfect.
Crocs. Get a pair of Crocs.
Your Croc shoes, indoor house shoes.
Now a few things for in the wood yard that before I had, maybe I'm like, and then after I have, there's some that are good and some that are bad. A picaroon, a hookaroon, what's the difference? Mm-hmm. We're going to do a video on that, but that's irrelevant. The log right picaroons, they come in all different lengths. You guys see Rachel wielding the 48-incher on the table. That thing's awesome. They come down in shorter lengths. I want to pick up another one or two of the shorter ones, because they're for just picking logs up, saving your back, moving heavy logs. Like, they're awesome. The Otschenkopf hookaroon. Not a lot of people know about those. It's German. It's super high quality. Love it. They've got a few features that others don't, like the one with the axe on the back for knocking off limbs when you're getting wood out of the woods, like stuff like that. Fiskars makes one. I had it. I really liked it until I used the log right in the Ochenkopf. I broke the tip off a couple times. Fiskars makes amazing stuff. Their warranty was spot on. The first time they're like, oh, send us a picture. Boom. Here's your new one in the mail. The second time, because of COVID, supply chain issues, all of that, I broke the tip off again, which sucks. Sent them a picture. And this was the warranted one. A lot of lifetime warranties are lifetime ones. So you warranty it once and now your warranty's over. This was the warranted one. I broke the tip off, sent them a picture. They're like, we're so sorry. Unfortunately, our wait is so long right now that we would like to just give you your money back. So they gave me back my full purchase price, which is like an expensive price for what you could buy it for. And if you know me, you know I didn't pay full price for it. So they gave me back a check for more money than I bought it for. But then I bought the Ochenkopf. I love a lot of the Fiskars stuff. I love their axes. I love their hatchets. I love their stuff. I won't buy their Picaroon again. The Logrite and the Ochenkopf, they're worth the money. Get them. You'll be happy you did. Another thing, the Husqvarna log tongs.
Husqvarna.
Husqvarna. And I probably said that wrong, but I said it fancy sounding, so that's cool. And don't
Is that supposed to be
skimp.
German?
I don't know. It's Swedish or something. I don't know.
Scandinavian?
It's something. But don't skimp. Don't buy the cheap ones. I have friends who've done it. They bend. They don't grip. They don't grab. Just get the Husqvarnas. Like, they pick up logs nicely. You might have to sharpen them a little bit. And lube them up, which you could use that Strike Force.
Oh, yeah.
Strike Cold.
Strike Cold.
That stuff's awesome. That wasn't supposed to be in here. And I'm not sponsored by them.
No.
I just found it. And that stuff is fire. It's the
Which
best
we're giving away some
lubricant I've ever used in my life. It stinks. It has an odor to it, but it's a lubricant. Most of them do.
Yeah.
And that stuff. But you put that on the pivots, which I haven't done yet because I haven't used the Husqvarna since I've got that Strike Cold. See, I don't even know what it's called, but it's awesome. Affiliate. It's fire. But we're giving away a bottle of that. Check out one of our last videos. But the log tongs, get the good ones. You'll be happy you did. And they're awesome. Now, another thing that I would love to have, a nice quality boy's axe. What's a boy's axe? It's between a hatchet and an axe. They're great for banging wedges. They're great for camping. They're great to just have around, and they're just a cool thing to have. You can chop down a tree if need be. You can split some wood. You can do whatever. Nick from Nick Pixel, he got an awesome one at the Paul Bunyan show from Casterman. That thing's sweet. And there, you can spend a few $100s on one of these, or you can get like a lower cost one that I know there's a Cold Steel that's not made in the U.S. I've watched some videos on the Council tool. That one's made in the U.S. You can redo the handle and make it a little bit nicer, but that's not crazy expensive. But you can go anywhere from not real expensive to super expensive, but it's just a cool thing to have. If your guy does firewood, if he works outside, if he camps, if he does this stuff, and he doesn't have one, a boy's axe is a cool thing to have.
Another thing, I don't know if you want to talk on this because I'm looking at it right now, the jet sled.
Oh, yes. Jet sled. If you don't know what it is, you might not live in the Midwest. I didn't know what it was because it wasn't something I'd ever used before. I don't do ice fishing. These are more popular in ice fishing, but it's just basically a big, heavy-duty, about a foot-tall utility sled. You can put a deer in it and drag it out of the woods with ease. You can put it in the bed of your truck and throw all your stuff in it that usually flies around, and then when you need it, you just slide the sled towards you. You can do this all summer long. So you can put your groceries in there so they're not flying all over, and then you just pull it out. You can put a deer in this jet sled and not end up like her stepdad trying to load his deer and blow his back out, picking up a deer, because you put it in the jet sled and then you just maybe put ramps and pull it up the ramps, or you put the jet sled up on the lid of the tailgate, and then you're only picking up part of the weight because of a lever and sliding it in.
I mean, I have used it by myself to drag a buck out of the woods home, like at our home property. So if that shows you how much easier it makes to transport and drag heavy things, that's a very heavy dead weight.
And it's literally sitting outside our slider door right now full of firewood because the yard was all muddy and nasty from the wood boiler install. couldn't go through it, and the gorilla cart that we have with the wheels would get all, she just took the jet sled up, threw some firewood in it, drug it down to the back door until the ground freezes, because it's not going to dry this year, and we can start bringing the IBC totes down. That's how we're running.
It works. A jet sled, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm very happy that we have one. I wouldn't have thought to purchase one.
Plus, if you can wrap it up, he's going to have the biggest present at Christmas, because they're big. You can get them in different sizes, but a jet sled, wasn't even thinking about it. Another thing that until you have it, you don't know you need it, and you're like, what have I done my whole life without this thing? Super useful.
So now we're going to move on to a few items that I think are essential for a woman to be doing outdoor work or hunting. So if your lady does not have any interest in working outside with you or has no interest in hunting with you, then just ignore any and all of this. Do not gift her any of these things. She will not be happy.
Yeah, and don't get her a vacuum.
Don't buy any, no.
Unless maybe it's a Roomba. I hear some women are happy getting the Roombas, because then they don't have to run it. Don't get your woman.
Unless she asked specifically for it. Do not buy.
Don't get them something that makes them work on the house.
Yeah. You know what? Save your money.
Guys,
and buy a
we can
housekeeper.
get tools. We love tools. Don't get your lady the stuff that, like, if you're like, man, I'd love a cordless impact. We'd be happy to get that, even though it means we're going to be doing work with it. Don't get your lady a new dishwasher. Don't get her a refrigerator. Don't get her a vacuum unless it's a robot one that she doesn't have to do.
Unless she said, get me this, I want it. Don't buy. The only thing that I can say, like some kitchen items, like I would love a KitchenAid mixer. Those are a few $100s. They're very expensive. One.
It's just not a KitchenAid brand.
And it's kind of dying. I've had it for 15 years.
It makes the best desserts. It's so good.
But I could use a nicer, bigger one. But they're a few $100s, but they last for 20 plus years. Like it's definitely worth the investment. And I don't think she would think you were giving her more work, because that's not along those lines. A lot of women love those. So anyways, things that make my life easier, makes me much happier to go work outside and help Heath or do any of the work. Sometimes I'm out there by myself. A good pair of work gloves that actually fit your
women's
hands.
Work gloves.
Women's
not men's
work gloves.
For women, unless your woman has man hands.
Like Milwaukee, though I wear the Milwaukee ones, the Milwaukee leather gloves, and those aren't
but they have your size.
But they have my size. So women's work gloves, a good pair. I have a few different pairs, like not just a gardening glove.
A lot of pairs for her to find good women's gloves too.
Yeah, so that's essential because I don't like getting slivers. Good pair of women's work gloves. Women's work boots. So I have a lot of pairs now, which I'm thrilled about. So I have tall rubber boots. I have the short rubber boots, which I just got from High C. We haven't put them out yet, but we will be.
You might be able to get a pair of new boots.
You might be able to win a pair. But I love these things. Like I slipped them on, like just slip them on. They're like mid-ankle, a little higher than ankle length.
Nice, thick, heavy-duty sole.
They have traction.
That's like tennis shoe sole comfort.
Oh, yeah. Super comfortable. Those things are awesome. Whether or not you work outdoors, I think she might enjoy those. And then like just a lace-up leather work boot that fits a woman's foot. That is my size. Like that's a game changer. That's the difference between me being able to move freely and feel comfortable out there doing this work or not. Like I never had boots like that before.
No, she'd be out there in her hunting boots or in her tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Good
it's
pair
just
of
not
work
safe.
boots. I mean, gotta have them.
Right. Another thing is we have an Aurora heated vest. Doesn't have to be the Aurora brand, but we'll link that because that's a company that we have used and love and tried.
Great. And I've had other ones from Cabela's that they last a few months and die, and they're not cheap. Yeah. These Auroras now we've had for a year, and they still work great.
I wear them all the time. I wear them to sporting events, and we see lots of people that use this brand, know the brand. Like we can say with full confidence that it's a quality brand. So a lot of for hunting, like it's just I wear it when I'm going out. Like if I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but it's cold, I'll just throw that vest on and you can feel the warmth and it just keeps me from having to have a big bulky coat sometimes. Like that I love. Oh, something else that we kind of thought wasn't that. We were like, is this just a gimmick? Is a smokeless fire pit. So we
Yes.
were gifted one, quite a few months ago to put on the channel, and we're like, we've
We'll
seen
try
them,
it.
we'll try it, but I don't know that it's worth it. We were definitely wrong. They're awesome.
And the reason I got it initially, I mean, we have a fire pit that's outside that's handcrafted by a master craftsman, myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you need a smokeless fire pit? They're silly. But from a marketing standpoint, they're becoming more and more popular now that we've used some with good reason. But they don't all take full-size wood. So when we got offered 2 different ones, I'm like, let's get them and let's see so we can help people learn what size wood fits in them and if they're worth having. And we did some comparison videos. You can go back in our history on YouTube and check those out. But benefits that we didn't know existed with them are what she's going to talk about right now.
Well, the portability, be able to move it wherever you need it. So we put it out when we're working. Wherever we were down in the wood yard or up by the side of the house, we can just move it and put it there. It's not stuck. And you can use the full-size logs in there, and it just
Kicks off heat.
it kicks off a ton of heat. It makes it so, if I just need to feel a little bit of warmth out there in the 30-degree weather, and it definitely helps. Another thing that is super cheap, put it in your stocking, hand warmers. You can get them at the dollar store. They're invaluable. I bring them to sporting events. I bring them out hunting. Like, just stick it in your pocket. It really does help keep you warm. And
you open it and the air activates.
right. And women are always cold. These
Always
things
cold,
are
except
amazing.
for menopause.
Apparently. So another thing that is super important to me is ear protection. I hate those little ones that are
The
foam
foamies.
and you got to stick them in there. I don't like wearing headphone ear protection. I don't know, they pinch my head or something, or I feel like they're too big, or I just don't like those. But we managed to get some through the insurance company, their Sound Gear brand. We went to an audiologist office,
Yes.
and she did hearing tests, did molds of our ears, so they fit and I was told I had very cute ear canals.
Yes, she has beautiful ear canals,
Right.
which are very small, which is why she hates the foam earplugs.
Yes, so come to find out, there's a reason why I hate those, because my ear canals are apparently cute and tiny and small. So these fit perfect. They are noise canceling. When I have them in, I seriously cannot hear anything out. And I don't like hearing the chainsaws. I don't like hearing the loud machines. My ears, I feel like I'm just sensitive to the loud noises. But these are beautiful to have. We both have them.
So look into your insurance, and they might cover them.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they're not cheap. And I honestly wouldn't buy them
I would buy them knowing how great they
they're
are.
like $1,500. So if your insurance don't pay for them, unless you have a bunch of extra money.
Well,
but
there might be a different company that allows you to do a mold kind of a thing.
well, there is, and without all of the hearing and everything, I've actually used them before, working midnights trying to sleep, and I'll link it on the Amazon. But it's an epoxy, a 2-piece kit. You get it, you mix it, you mold them to your ears.
Yeah.
They actually work really well. They plug into your ears and they fit. They're comfortable and they do a good job. They don't have the music capability, the Bluetooth, the active noise canceling, all of that. But they're a good earplug. It's not the foamies. I'll put that down in the description. They're not that expensive. Back when I
It's
was
worth
buying
it to
those
me.
ones were $15 or so, and I don't know what they are now, but I'll look it up and I'll put it in there.
Right. Well, and the other thing you touched on a little bit, we're talking about hunting gear. So if your woman expresses interest in going out hunting with you, or you want her to come out hunting with you, you have to make sure you're not just giving her old hand-me-down clothes and boots
Men's
and
clothes.
everything of yours, because that will not make her have a great experience. Definitely, we like the Sitka gear. I'm sure there's lots of other brands that have women's lines
It's
of
becoming
hunting.
more and more popular,
And
finally.
it's worth it to get the women's, because the fit, it's just so different, and it's such a game changer, and it's so much easier. I climb up in tree stands, and if I'm wearing men's big, bulky, too big of clothes, it just isn't going to make me feel safe, and it's more dangerous. So I like having stuff be able to fit my body and work and keep me warm. And that's where we love that Sitka gear, because it really does keep you warm. And that's huge when you're sitting out hunting. So those are just a few of my recommendations to help the women in your life want to be out there and work side by side with you in the outdoors. A lot of you comment and say you wish your woman would. And I'm telling you, I think if you outfitted her with the proper gear,
you got a better chance.
You got a better chance. It shows that you care.
Again, like she said, if she has no interest in it, buying her this stuff for Christmas, probably not the best idea. Maybe just get this stuff for not Christmas.
Yeah.
But if she's interested and if she's starting to, or if she works out there with you, maybe she doesn't love it, but she does it because she knows that you like her being out there or to be helpful. Get her this stuff and she'll enjoy it more. And maybe she will grow to love it. Like now I come home from work and Rachel's out there working. I can't keep her out of the wood yard.
He's such a dork. I'm out there chainsawing trees down, and good thing you come home and tell me I got to put pants under my chaps.
Yeah, who knew? But anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this. A little bit different than our normal podcast, but we asked if people wanted it, and they said yeah. And this stuff, like, if you watch Hardworking Man, you know I love buying stuff. I love trying stuff, and I love sharing my experience with you. And I'll tell you what I like, what I don't like, and some of the stuff I told you about is stuff that's just awesome, and you might not even know it exists or know how awesome it is until you have it. And now maybe you'll be like, yeah, get me that.
And we will not recommend anything that is crappy, basically. Like, if we have the recommendation for you, that means it is good, and you can trust that it's going to be quality. Like, our standards have gotten progressively higher as we've gotten older, because you see, it's not worth it to buy something cheap, because you're going to have to buy it again and again, and you're eventually going to spend the money. Just pay the money from the first time.
So learn from my mistakes, because I grew up thinking, again, the clothes I get at Meijer's is the same as the Sitka. It's not. The cheap log tongs are not the Husqvarna. So I have two sayings I say all the time: buy once, cry once, or do it right, or do it twice. Because if you don't buy the good stuff the first time and you buy the cheap one, and then you're like, wow, that was useful, but it didn't last, but it wasn't real useful. Now you bought the cheap one to save some money, and then you bought the expensive one. So you actually, in the end up spending more. So do it right or do it twice. Buy once, cry once, and check out this stuff in the links in the description.
Everything
Thanks
will
for
be
listening.
linked. Yeah.
Thanks for everyone, for the subscribers, for the comments, for the likes, the thumbs up. We love it. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys next week on the next Hardworking Man podcast.
Yeah. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.